What up, YouTube? It's your boy JKG Brandon. We are back on the main account in Raid Shadow Legends. Before we get into the video, I just want to real quick say thank you for all the love and support on the channel and just in personal stuff. If you don't know, my father had double leg amputations and was in the hospital from December until basically the end of February. And I want to say thank you for all the love and support. If you don't know what that's like, it is a wild time to go through. And one thing that's kind of helped us get along through it, me and the family, has been a sense of humor. My dad's had a really good sense of humor. Matter of fact, when he came out of anesthesia from his first amputation, my sister was videotaping him and asked him what his new nickname was going to be, and he said, "They call me Mr. Stubbs." And we all got a kick out of that. My dad was grinning ear to ear. And later that night, my sister and I were hanging out on the computer and wanted to get t-shirts and stuff like that made for the family saying Mr. Stubbs. And so I went ahead and hopped into the Stream Element store and made up a design. So we have Mr. Stubbs merch. The link is going to be in the pinned comment below. If you guys want to, cop some Mr. Stubbs merch, by all means, go ahead. Absolutely zero pressure to do so. But every single cent that comes from it is actually going to go directly to my father. Whether it's something as simple as buying him lunch, or a tank of gas to take him out of town, take him to the beach, go visit my, my uncle and my cousins and everything over at the beach. Something as simple as that. Every single cent is going to go towards that, to bettering his situation, keeping him positive mentally, right? That being said, I'm going to go ahead and hop right over into YouTuber mode, and we're going to transition into the video why we're here. You can see, did a community poll over on the YouTube channel and asking who you wanted to see as a champion spotlight in the next video. Bloodgorged won. We had a couple other, options, Gaius and Pixnil and other. But as you can see, for those of you who voted other, you didn't leave a comment. So going forward, in any next community polls where other is an option to comment, go ahead and comment who you want. That way, I know I can gauge who to build going forward. And as always, if there's any champion or team composition or something like that you want to see in Raid Shadow Legends, whether it's a free-to-play version over on the free-to-play or a whaley version over here on the main account, by all means, feel free to comment those in the comment section. I'm happy to take a look at them, and if I can build them, I can. If I cannot build them, I pretty much know somebody who can and can direct you where to go to get that information. But let's go ahead and hop this off of the screen. We'll take a look at the man of the hour. Bloodgorged, we're right here. Stats wise, 180 on speed, 100% crit rate, 328% on crit damage. We were able to get about 300 on the accuracy. You are going to want a little bit of accuracy for him, because I have seen his A2 get resisted before. It does happen. I would say this is not an optimal build by any stretch of the imagination. I would like to see, if I was trying to be super optimal, keep 100% crit rate. I would say maybe drop this down to between that 280 to 300% crit damage range. And if we can get, 4 or 5k into attack, that would be more of an optimal build for him. Skill wise, you can kind of see no books in him, so he's actually decent without books. So as a early to mid game player, if you pull him early on, do not be discouraged. You can actually put good gear on him. Don't put your best gear on him, but put good gear on him, and you're actually going to be able to do a lot of work in arena and in ice golems specifically as far as dungeons go. However, just raw damage wise, he can actually bring a lot to the table in dragon or spider if you don't have a full team, right? It does happen. As far as the kit itself, A1 has a 2-hitter with a 55% base chance to land decreased defense. It's the big version of decreased defense, which is awesome. Books up to a 75% chance, so you're basically going to land that every time you hit with that A1. The A2 is an AoE, and it puts one of each target skills on cooldown. This doesn't specifically say that it's like a chance or anything like that, but I have seen it resisted. That's just anecdotal evidence, but I have seen it resisted. That's why I went ahead and built with a little bit of accuracy here. As far as the A3, this is the one that everybody loves. Attacks one enemy, ignores defense, and enemies killed cannot be revived, effectively making him Ivan Drago of the Raid Shadow Legends world, because it dies, it dies. One thing I would love to see happen as like a reworking of his kit, it's not even really a buff. If they took the decreased defense off of the A1 and moved it over to the A2, so it was on the AoE, this A2 would immediately be awesome. An AoE decreased defense with putting skills on cooldown would be awesome for Arena. You can kind of see Arena team that we're bringing in here. We have Mountain King in a shield set with high HP, Sify to give us, some speed and some, protection as far as block debuffs, and then CC for Tormund. The team that we're going up against has a couple revivers with Scylla Drakes and Arbiter. I'm going to take it off of auto because he has really bad targeting. He likes to not use his block revive on auto for some stupid reason, but you can kind of see here we have Scylla Drakes, still has a bunch of HP. Arbiter's getting there. We'll see if we can take out Arbiter real quick. So there we go, 69k on that Arbiter with the A3, which is awesome. So Scylla Drakes cannot revive her, and which is going to be awesome. So now we only have one reviver to deal with. We have a long cooldown on that skill because mine is not booked. It's a 6-turn cooldown without books. It's a 4-turn cooldown with books. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are, in a situation similar to mine where I have a ton of champions already booked and I'm not really working on anybody. When a CVC comes up, I might go ahead and start throwing some books into him and make him the champion that I start booking on a slow basis with CVC. Otherwise, Arena, you're typically not getting into long drawn out fights. Hopefully you're not getting into long drawn out fights in Arena. The other place he's going to shine is going to be Ice Golem and Doom Tower. Doom Tower specifically for like the waves where you're going to have revivers, like the Sify double Rotos waves and stuff like that, because he is going to block that revive from those champions. And then Ice Golem, the side bosses, the side underbosses, if you will, you want to keep them dead when you kill them. So hopefully you can actually get them to a low level HP and then use him to kill them, because when the Frigid Vengeance procs from the boss, he's going to do 50% ignore defense per side boss, right? Per underboss. So that if they're both alive, it's going to hit like an absolute tank. And if you're not built well, you're going to get your entire team wiped if that procs. If you're built well, you're probably going to be okay. But you're not going to want to get hit by that a lot, right? So especially with hard mode dungeons coming up, it's going to be imperative in Ice Golem to go ahead and really try to kill those side bosses and keep them dead, because it's just going to be a hard fight without them. It's one less thing to have to worry about if you can do that, right? So you're going to want as many block revive champions as you can, or if you have a Lydia, you're going to probably want to bring Lydia into that hard mode Ice Golem. And as far as average everyday players, we're really only going into Ice Golem when there's an Ice Golem tournament anyway. So Ice Golem is one of those dungeons, unless you're farming like reflex gear, you're pretty much staying out of it unless there's really good rewards in an Ice Golem tournament. But so I wouldn't necessarily be looking at building a specific speed team for Ice Golem, but you can definitely go ahead and do some work with him in there. We're gonna kind of see that you know, in a situation like this, we're looking to hopefully get that back off cooldown. We're going to try to get one or both of these, you know, side bosses, you know, killed by him so they can stay dead. That way, if we do proc a Frigid Vengeance, we're not going to take near as much damage. This is definitely not a speed team. This is definitely not like a tuned Ice Golem team by any stretch of the imagination. This is literally just a team that I put around him to kind of hopefully showcase what he can do. Keep him alive with Siphi. We're going to get decreased defense and weaken from Draco. We're going to get HP burn damage from Tyrant Ixlamore, and we're going to have, you know, Solus here to do some AoE damage for the waves. That's kind of the thought process about putting this team together here. Now we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do here, see if we can get a little bit of damage into this guy. Solus went ahead and took the kill from him on the other side boss, which is fine. Let's go ahead and we're gonna start, you know, saving him. Here we go. All right, so he's gonna revive, should be off cooldown. We'll go ahead and block that revive. 108k on that hit, so you can see it does hit really hard. He's got good multipliers. He's definitely not an OP champion. He's not OP, not S tier. Is he a good champion? I would say he's decent. He's not one that you're gonna pull and think, oh my god, I have to build this champion right away. He's one that you're gonna build, you're initially gonna be like, oh man, I got Bloodgorged. That's not the greatest pull in the world. And then, you know, eventually you're gonna come to a point where you're like, okay, where do I need him? Where can I use him? And PvP is probably gonna be the first place you're gonna use him. Ice Golem's probably the second. And then Doom Tower, depending on, you know, what you're doing in Doom Tower, whether you're, you know, farming normal Doom Tower or hard Doom Tower, he can really help you climb some of those higher stages where you have like the Siphi double Rotos. He can come in and hopefully, you know, because he is, you know, strong affinity towards like a Rotos, he can actually, you know, survive a little bit more just naturally, and kind of go from there. That's been a look at, you know, quick look at Bloodgorged. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I want to go ahead and put out some more champion guides on this channel, and I might start doing some shorts versions of these, just like a, you know, damage test. You know, can they slap, and kind of see, you know, basically go into the same level with the same, you know, supporting cast, and, you know, see which champions can hit the hardest and kind of do that. So look out for those in the coming weeks and days. And yeah, again, cop the Mr. Subs merch if you want to help support my pops. And with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next one. Love you guys. Peace.